The C5 generation of the Chevrolet Corvette was built from 1997 through 2004. And they are wonderful cars. You can buy them now at a very reasonable price point. They're a lot of fun to drive, but like any automobile, they are not perfect. And so in this video, I'm going to describe the top 7 things that I hate or dislike about the C5 generation of the Chevrolet Corvette. So stick around. If you're new to my channel, I do a lot of Corvette content. In fact, over the last several years, I've been buying a different generation of the Corvette each summer, and I've been doing a number of videos about them and put them up on my channel. So last summer I did C4 generation and I had a 1995 Corvette. The summer before that I had a 2007, so I did 6th generation. And with each generation I do 2 of the videos that I do. One is the 7 things I love about the generation, which I've already done about the C5. If you're interested in seeing that, I'll drop a link in the comments below. And then I also do this video. And this one usually gets a ton of comments, and people want to scream at me and say, you know, why are you hating on the Corvette? That's not what I'm doing. I love these cars, but every car is not perfect. And certainly the C5 generation Corvette is no different. And so now, let me start right in with the 7 things that I really dislike about the C5 generation Corvette. Number 1 on my list are these crappy sun visors. I mean, they're made out of cardboard, for heaven's sakes. And, you know, these mirrors, the plastic covers break and fall off, and you can see the cardboard kind of flops around. I mean, these things are absolutely terrible. And so if you have a convertible, or in this case a Targa, and you take it off quite a bit in the summertime and these things bake in the sun, you're going to end up replacing them. And there are plenty of aftermarkets that are available on eBay Motors or Amazon to replace them, but it really was a terrible design. Number 2 on my list is the plastic bezel that goes around your heads-up display. Once again, too much sun exposure, and what happens is it gets very brittle and it ends up cracking. And in my case, mine cracked in 2 different places. And so once they break, you only have 2 options in trying to fix it. One is you buy a factory or aftermarket replacement bezel. So here's what the aftermarket replacement looks like. And it has spots on it for mounting. But the problem is, in order to install this, you got to pull the dash down in order to do it. And so the other alternative, which is the direction I chose to go in, is they make a kit with these without all of these mounting points, and you literally put glue around it and you glue it over the broken one, and it sticks down in place and you'd never know that it broke. But it is a cheap piece of plastic. It bakes in the sun too long, and with these cars now being the age that they are, it's quite common that they break. Number 3 on the list is the EBCM, or Electronic Brake Control Module. This is the module that controls your ABS system for your braking system. It is located underneath this radiator hose right down here, and in the early model years, 97 to 2000, you cannot get a replacement. I should say there is no one making an aftermarket module. The manufacturer of it, Bosch, says they're never making them again. There are no new ones out in the supply chain anywhere. So you really have 2 options. One is you could buy a used one, but if you look out on the used market, you find that they're $2,000 to buy one, and they might be a 30-day warranty. So that's a bit of a crapshoot. The other option is there's really no one out there who can reliably remanufacture these. There are people who try, and they take them out and they pull them apart, and there's solder joints that go bad on the circuit board, but it's really a mess. And so I generally recommend anybody shopping for a C5 to try and stay away from 97 to 2000 just for this reason alone, because an EBCM on another GM vehicle of this generation might run you, $300 to $500, but for those early C5s, like I said, a used one is $2,000. Now, on the later models, 01 to 04, they were rebuildable. It was a different model, and so that is not as much of an issue, which is part of the reason why I bought a 2002. But that's number 3 on my list, again, is the EBCM, or Electronic Brake Control Module. Number 4 on my list is the manual transmission 1-to-4 skip shift, or something called CAGS. It's the computer assisted gear selection. So here's what happens. You're driving the car and you're just out on the road and you're not accelerating real hard, and what happens is it forces you to shift the manual transmission from 1st to 4th gear instead of 1st to 2nd. And this was done by GM for fuel economy reasons, and customers, as you can imagine, hate it. So there is an aftermarket CAGS eliminator that can be purchased that disables this system. You can find them on eBay Motors. I saw one for as cheap as 10 bucks, and that will eliminate the CAGS system. Number 5 on my list would be the seats. So look, if you're just buying this car and you want to go out and do a Sunday cruise, then yeah, these seats are probably fine for you. But for the rest of us who want to do some spirited driving, these seats are really poor. I mean, I have the sport seat model, but there's just not enough side bolstering here. I took one out on a racetrack and found myself having to brace my leg against the door so I'm not sliding back and forth. And of course, the other problem you have with these seats is now that these cars are 20 to 25 years old, what ends up happening is there's a bushing down in the track mechanism that fails. And now every time you brake, you feel it shift forward, and you accelerate and it shifts back. And it's about an inch and it goes back and forth, and it's really annoying. And so I had to tear my seat out of the car and buy a repair kit. And it took me an entire afternoon, and I managed to install new bushings and fix that problem. But yes, that would be number 5 on my list, is the poor quality of the seats. Number 6 on my list would be opening the fuel door. So on modern automobiles nowadays, of course, you just walk up and you push on it and it opens. Of course, that doesn't work in a C5 generation. Now you would think, okay, well, they'll put a release down here, maybe along this door jamb, and you just grab it and it opens up. Oh no, they had to put it in the center glove box. So you got to come over here and you got to open the center glove box and you got to push this little button in order to get to the fuel door. And so now it is open, and now you can refuel your car. And number 7 on my list, and absolutely the most annoying one of all, is the single cup holder that this car comes with is so shallow that it is virtually useless. I mean, here, we'll just put a bottle of water in there, and the next turn you go around, guess what? Oh, yeah, it's going to fall right out. And don't even think about trying to stick a big gulp in there, because that is not going to last whatsoever. And so what a lot of buyers do is they will then buy these aftermarket cup holders, which basically just slide up on the side so they have something that they can actually use. And that concludes my 7 things that I hate, okay, let's call it dislike, of the C5 generation of the Chevrolet Corvette. Now, once again, I will repeat, I'm not a Corvette hater. My wife and I have had 8 of them over the years. This is the 3rd C5 that we've had, and I love the cars. And there's many great things about them. But like every automobile, they do have their flaws. And so in this video, I pointed out 7 of them. Now, prior to putting the video together, I actually had posted a picture of my car and asked the question on a Facebook C5 owners group to see what suggestions people might come up with, and they came up with 18 suggestions of things that they didn't like about their cars. So if you are watching this video and you're a C5 owner or past owner, drop me a comment below. What do you think of my list? Did I forget something that you wanted included? I'd love to hear from you. My name is Tom Stroup. You've been watching Find the Right Road. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks. We'll catch you next time.